Imagine a world where your mind quietly gathers knowledge while you rest, where the very act of sleep becomes a gateway to understanding patterns, insights, and opportunities invisible to the waking world. This is not science fiction, it is a reality grounded in the emerging science of sleep learning, cognitive priming, and subconscious perception. What if, while your body rejuvenates, your brain could absorb information, process subtle cues, and enhance your ability to perceive what others cannot? Sleep is often seen as downtime, a pause between days, a biological necessity for rest and recovery. Yet beneath this calm surface, the brain is remarkably active. During certain sleep stages, particularly deep sleep and REM cycles, the mind processes memories, consolidates learning, and even strengthens problem-solving ability. More, when guided deliberately through subtle audio cues, affirmations, or structured exposure to information, sleep becomes a medium for accelerated learning and heightened perception. You literally feed your brain while it recharges. The principle is deceptively simple. The mind does not fully shut down during sleep. Subconscious pathways remain receptive to patterns, rhythms, and structured input. This means that carefully curated audio played during sleep can influence cognitive processes, reinforce mental frameworks, and sharpen observational abilities. Over time, your mind begins to detect patterns, anticipate outcomes, and notice subtleties that others, relying solely on conscious awareness, completely miss. Consider the implications in real-world terms. Entrepreneurs who detect market trends before competitors, akin negotiators who sense hesitation in speech patterns, or creators who intuitively spot gaps in innovation. All of this relies on heightened perception. Sleep learning does not provide magic knowledge, but primes your brain to recognize signals, integrate new information, and expand intuitive understanding. It accelerates the process of seeing connections where others see only noise. Yet mastery requires strategy. Not all audio input is effective. Random sounds or unstructured information can disrupt sleep or fail to engage the subconscious meaningfully. The content must be purposeful, rhythmic, and aligned with cognitive patterns that the sleeping brain can process. Tone, repetition, and simplicity are essential, guiding the mind without triggering conscious interference. This is why structured sleep learning is as much an art as it is a science. The transformative power of listening while sleeping lies in integration. While awake, your mind gathers fragments of knowledge, experiences, and sensory input. During sleep, it organizes, connects, and synthesizes this information. By intentionally feeding your brain targeted content during these hours, you effectively outsource learning to the subconscious. Gradually, this enhances observation, memory, pattern recognition, and creativity. The insights you awaken with feel intuitive, effortless, and often startlingly precise. Over time, those who practice guided sleep listening report an extraordinary advantage. The ability to notice details others overlook, predict outcomes with clarity, and approach challenges with insights that feel almost prescient. It is not clairvoyance, it is enhanced cognition powered by the natural rhythms of the mind. The difference between those who train their brain consciously and subconsciously and those who rely solely on waking effort becomes staggering. Tonight, as you lay down to rest, consider this. Every moment of sleep is a potential opportunity to sharpen perception, deepen understanding, and cultivate insight. The sound you allow into your mind, the words you let the subconscious process, become a silent architect of your intelligence. Sleep is no longer a passive necessity, it is a secret weapon, a cognitive amplifier, a bridge between ordinary awareness and extraordinary perception. Your journey begins simply by listening, consistently and deliberately, while your mind rests. The process is subtle, often unnoticed in the moment, yet its impact is profound. What you begin to perceive, the patterns, the cues, the hidden opportunities, will set you apart. The world continues in its habitual rhythm, but you, quietly, while asleep, will start seeing what others cannot. Chapter 1. The Science Behind Sleep. Learning and Subconscious Perception. Sleep has long been viewed as a passive state, a biological pause between the waking hours, but decades of research reveal a far more complex and active process. While your body rests, your brain engages in critical processes of memory consolidation, neural pruning, and information integration. Understanding these processes is the first step toward harnessing sleep as a tool for enhanced perception, learning, and intuitive insight. Neuroscientists distinguish multiple stages of sleep, each serving distinct cognitive functions. In non-REM sleep, particularly deep sleep, stages 3 and 4, is responsible for consolidating declarative memories, facts, concepts, and experiences accumulated throughout the day. During these stages, the hippocampus communicates with the neocortex, embedding learned material into long-term storage. This is the stage most receptive to reinforcing structured knowledge introduced through audio stimuli. By playing carefully designed content during deep sleep, the brain can strengthen connections without conscious effort, effectively practicing while resting. REM sleep, characterized by rapid eye movement and vivid dreaming, is essential for integrating emotional experiences and enhancing creative problem-solving. Neural activity during REM is remarkably similar to wakefulness, but particularly in areas associated with associative thinking and pattern recognition. Listening to auditory cues during REM can reinforce complex patterns, enhance intuitive reasoning, and increase the brain's ability to detect subtle cues in waking life. Importantly, REM is also when the brain consolidates procedural learning, the skills and habits that underlie mastery in any field. The effectiveness of sleep learning relies on the brain's subconscious receptivity. During sleep, the conscious mind's filtering mechanisms are less active, allowing certain auditory information to reach deeper neural pathways. This means that repetitive or structured audio, particularly in a calm and rhythmic format, can influence memory consolidation, cognitive priming, and perceptual sensitivity. For instance, subtle exposure to language patterns, statistical concepts, or problem-solving frameworks during sleep can enhance recall and comprehension without active effort. Priming is a key psychological mechanism at play. Priming occurs when exposure to specific stimuli influences subsequent thoughts, judgments, or behaviors. Sleep creates an ideal environment for priming because the brain processes and organizes sensory input without distraction. For example, repeated exposure to specific terminology, analogies, or observational cues during sleep can make the brain more alert to those concepts while awake, subtly improving analytical ability and pattern recognition. Pattern recognition, an essential component of advanced perception, is enhanced by sleep learning. Humans often fail to notice subtle relationships in data, behavior, or environments because conscious attention is limited. By reinforcing neural pathways associated with specific patterns while asleep, the mind can detect correlations and irregularities more efficiently. Over time, this leads to an almost intuitive ability to see what others miss. Hidden connections, behavioral signals, or trends that are not immediately obvious. Scientific studies have demonstrated that sleep can accelerate learning. Experiments on language acquisition, motor skills, and problem-solving show that participants exposed to targeted auditory input during sleep perform better than those who rely solely on conscious practice. Moreover, sleep learning is cumulative. Consistent, deliberate exposure leads to progressively enhanced cognitive abilities and faster recognition of subtle cues. The subconscious brain acts as a silent tutor, reinforcing knowledge and sharpening perception even when the conscious mind is inactive. It is critical to note, however, that not all audio input is effective. Random sounds, overly complex material, or loud, disruptive audio can interfere with sleep architecture, diminishing restorative effects and reducing learning potential. Effective sleep learning requires structured, simple, and rhythmically delivered content, often paired with calming tones or slow-paced repetition. This ensures that the mind absorbs information without triggering conscious awareness that could disrupt sleep cycles. Sleep learning also interacts with daytime experiences. The mind integrates waking knowledge with sleep-processed material, creating a feedback loop of insight. Observations, reading, and real-world practice are reinforced during sleep, allowing the brain to detect patterns, refine predictions, and enhance intuitive understanding. Over weeks and months, this results in heightened situational awareness and a perception that seems almost effortless compared to others. Finally, understanding the ethical and practical limits of sleep learning is essential. Sleep learning does not provide magic insight or instant clairvoyance. It primes the brain, reinforces existing knowledge, and enhances pattern recognition, but it cannot replace active engagement, critical thinking, or real-world experience. The power of sleep learning lies in amplification. It extends the brain's capacity to process, organize, and interpret information beyond the limits of waking cognition. In summary, the science behind sleep learning demonstrates that sleep is an active, receptive, and integrative state. Through strategic auditory input, priming, pattern reinforcement, and consolidation of waking experiences, the subconscious mind can enhance perception, insight, and cognitive performance. Those who harness sleep learning deliberately gain a distinct advantage: the ability to see connections, opportunities, and subtle cues that remain invisible to most awake minds. Sleep becomes more than rest. It becomes a tool for mastery, a hidden mechanism for unlocking cognitive potential while the world continues in ordinary rhythm. Chapter 2: Preparing your mind and environment for effective sleep learning. Maximizing the benefits of sleep learning requires deliberate preparation of both the mind and environment. Without structured conditions, the subconscious brain may not effectively process the auditory cues, and sleep cycles may be disrupted, reducing both learning and cognitive enhancement. This chapter outlines the psychological, environmental, and behavioral strategies required to create optimal conditions for sleep-based perception and insight. The first principle is mental readiness. The subconscious mind is most receptive when the conscious mind is calm and free from excessive stress or distraction. High mental activity, anxiety, or unresolved concerns can interfere with the brain's ability to absorb auditory input during sleep. Establishing a mental routine before bed, such as reflection, journaling, or mindfulness meditation, clears mental clutter and signals to the brain that it is entering a receptive state. When this transition enhances the effectiveness of sleep-based learning, environmental control is equally essential. Sleep quality is influenced by light, sound, temperature, and physical comfort. A dark, quiet room reduces competing sensory input, allowing audio cues to penetrate more effectively. Using high-quality speakers or headphones designed for sleep ensures that sound is delivered evenly and unobtrusively, avoiding abrupt noises that could disrupt deep sleep cycles. Temperature regulation also plays a role. The brain functions optimally in a cool, comfortable environment, which promotes restorative sleep and enhances the processing of information. Timing of sleep matters for learning efficiency. Different sleep stages dominate at various points in the night. The first few hours tend to be rich in deep sleep, ideal for consolidating declarative memories and structured information. Later cycles are richer in REM sleep, optimal for creativity, associative learning, and integration of complex patterns. Planning sleep sessions to coincide with these stages, or using targeted audio at these times, amplifies the effectiveness of learning. For example, Playing structured knowledge or key concepts during early deep sleep cycles consolidates factual material, while exposing the brain to pattern-based or associative content during REM enhances perceptual sensitivity. Content preparation is critical. Not all auditory material is suitable for sleep learning. The brain is sensitive to rhythm, repetition, and simplicity. Complex or disorganized information can overwhelm neural pathways and be ignored by the subconscious. Effective content is concise, repetitive, and structured in ways that mirror natural cognitive processing. Repetition strengthens neural connections, while rhythmic pacing aligns with the brain's natural oscillations during sleep, ensuring maximum absorption without conscious interference. Mindset and intention also play a subtle role. Entering sleep with a clear objective, whether it is pattern recognition, enhanced observation, or problem-solving, primes the subconscious to prioritize relevant input. Psychological studies demonstrate that goal-directed intention increases cognitive engagement, even during subconscious processing. Before sleep, mentally affirming the purpose of the listening session helps the mind align perception and retention, improving the eventual waking benefits. Pre-sleep habits reinforce effectiveness. Avoiding stimulants such as caffeine or high-intensity activity before bed prevents interference with natural sleep cycles. Engaging in calming routines, light reading, stretching, or controlled breathing prepares the body for restorative sleep and primes the mind to absorb information. A consistent sleep schedule reinforces circadian rhythm, which is critical for predictable deep and REM sleep cycles, enhancing both retention and perceptual enhancement. Reducing distractions is another key factor. Notifications, light-emitting devices, and ambient noise compete with targeted audio input. Minimizing these distractions ensures that the subconscious brain focuses on relevant auditory stimuli. Some practitioners use white noise or gentle background tracks to mask irrelevant sounds while reinforcing learning cues. The goal is to create a controlled, consistent auditory environment that the mind can interpret as meaningful input. Gradual acclimation improves results. The brain may initially resist sleep-based audio input if unaccustomed. Starting with shorter sessions or lower volume allows the subconscious to adapt without disturbing sleep quality. Over time, duration and complexity can increase, gradually enhancing absorption and pattern recognition. Patience is essential. Benefits accumulate progressively rather than instantaneously. Integration with daytime activity amplifies learning. Observations, note-taking, and conscious engagement with relevant material during the day provide the brain with contextual anchors. When these experiences are reinforced during sleep, the subconscious links new input to existing knowledge, strengthening comprehension, recall, and intuitive insight. This creates a continuous loop of learning and perception that operates across both waking and sleeping states. Finally, tracking and reflection consolidate the process. Keeping a journal of observations, insights, and perceived improvements allows for iterative refinement. Noting patterns in perception, problem-solving, or creativity helps identify which audio strategies and environmental adjustments produce the most impact. Reflection also strengthens cognitive pathways by reinforcing neural connections formed during sleep, enhancing the retention and integration of acquired knowledge. In summary, preparing for effective sleep learning requires aligning the mind, body, and environment with cognitive principles. Mental readiness, controlled sleep conditions, strategic timing, structured content, clear intention, pre-sleep habits, distraction management, gradual acclimation, integration with daytime activity, and reflective tracking form the foundation for optimizing the subconscious absorption of knowledge. When these factors are consistently applied, the brain becomes a silent apprentice, continuously expanding perceptual abilities and enabling insights that remain invisible to those who rely solely on conscious effort. Chapter 3. The role of repetition and pattern recognition in subconscious learning. Repetition is the engine of learning, and in sleep-based cognition, it becomes a silent architect of perception. The subconscious mind thrives on patterns. By exposing it to consistent auditory input during sleep, neural pathways are strengthened, connections are reinforced, and the brain becomes adept at recognizing relationships, trends, and anomalies that may elude conscious observation. Mastering the mechanisms of repetition and pattern recognition transforms sleep from mere rest into a strategic tool for cognitive enhancement. At the core of this process is neural plasticity. Every time the brain encounters repeated stimuli, synaptic connections between neurons are reinforced. During sleep, the brain prioritizes these repeated patterns, embedding them into long-term memory. This means that subtle, structured auditory input, whether language, sequences, or conceptual cues, can strengthen neural associations without conscious effort. The effect is cumulative. Each night of exposure adds another layer of insight, gradually enhancing perception, memory, and problem-solving ability. Pattern recognition is closely linked to repetition. The human brain naturally seeks order in information, identifying regularities, predicting outcomes, and drawing conclusions. Sleep amplifies this capacity because the conscious filtering mechanisms are largely inactive, allowing the subconscious to explore connections without distraction. As auditory information is repeated during sleep, the brain begins to detect underlying structures, link related concepts, and anticipate associations in waking life. Over time, this skill translates into the ability to notice subtleties others overlook, see relationships in complex systems, and intuitively predict outcomes. Repetition is most effective when structured and rhythmic. Random or chaotic exposure to information often fails to reinforce memory or pattern recognition and can even disrupt sleep. Structured repetition with predictable intervals and clear auditory patterns aligns with the brain's natural oscillations during deep and REM sleep. For example, repeating key concepts, affirmations, or patterns in a calm, paced sequence ensures absorption while maintaining restorative sleep cycles. Rhythm and timing are not incidental. They are integral to the brain's ability to internalize information subconsciously. Spaced repetition enhances long-term retention. Instead of continuous exposure to a concept, distributing repetitions across different sleep cycles strengthens memory consolidation and reinforces pattern recognition. The subconscious mind is more responsive when stimuli are introduced at intervals, allowing neural networks to integrate information progressively. This mirrors techniques used in conscious learning, adapted for subconscious processing during sleep. Associative repetition further improves perceptual acuity. Pairing repeated auditory cues with real-world contexts, experiences, or visualizations creates deeper neural integration. For instance, listening to spatial reasoning cues while reviewing related experiences during the day enhances the subconscious ability to detect patterns in similar contexts. This associative link strengthens intuition, enabling faster recognition and more accurate interpretation of subtle signals in waking life. The psychology of priming amplifies the effects of repetition. Repeated exposure during sleep primes the brain to recognize relevant cues during waking hours. Priming enhances attention, sensitivity, and decision-making by making certain information more accessible. Over time, primed concepts manifest as intuitive insights. Ideas, opportunities, or patterns emerge naturally in thought processes without deliberate analysis. Sleep-based repetition essentially creates a mental scaffold that the conscious mind can draw upon effortlessly. Repetition also reinforces habitual cognitive frameworks. For example, exposure to problem-solving strategies, critical thinking exercises, or observational cues during sleep strengthens habitual mental pathways. These reinforced pathways make it easier to apply learned principles under pressure, detect inconsistencies, and analyze complex scenarios efficiently. By reinforcing neural patterns, sleep learning converts abstract knowledge into instinctive cognitive skill. Importantly, effective repetition balances intensity and subtlety. Overloading the brain with complex or high-volume audio risks disruption, while minimal, concise cues allow absorption without waking interference. The goal is subtle influence, repeated exposure that embeds knowledge and reinforces patterns without conscious disruption. Mastery lies in calibrating repetition to the brain's natural processing capacity, respecting sleep architecture, and enhancing subconscious learning. Integration with waking experience is crucial. Sleep repetition is most effective when paired with daytime engagement. Observations, practice, and reflection create anchor points for subconscious processing. The brain consolidates these anchors during sleep, by linking new input to prior experiences and enabling recognition of patterns that may otherwise go unnoticed. This continuous feedback loop between waking cognition and subconscious processing accelerates learning and perception. Over weeks and months, disciplined sleep repetition produces noticeable perceptual advantages. The mind begins to detect anomalies in behavior, trends in data, subtle shifts in environments, and hidden opportunities that escape ordinary attention. These insights appear intuitive because the conscious mind did not laboriously process the information. The subconscious did the work silently while you rested. In summary, repetition and pattern recognition are the pillars of subconscious learning during sleep. Structured, rhythmic, and spaced repetition reinforces neural pathways, primes perception, it strengthens habit formation, and integrates with waking experience. By harnessing these mechanisms deliberately, the mind transforms sleep into a cognitive amplifier, enabling insights, intuition, and perceptual acuity that remain invisible to those who rely solely on conscious effort. Sleep is no longer a passive state, it is a laboratory of the mind, quietly training perception and preparing you to see what others cannot. Chapter 4: Techniques to Maximize Subconscious Absorption. During sleep. To unlock the full potential of sleep learning, understanding techniques that optimize subconscious absorption is critical. Not all auditory input is processed equally. The effectiveness of sleep-based learning depends on deliberate strategies that align with the brain's natural rhythms, sensory receptivity, and cognitive architecture. Mastering these techniques ensures that information is not merely heard, but integrated deeply into neural pathways, enhancing perception, intuition, and cognitive performance. The first technique is audio structuring. The subconscious brain responds best to information presented in clear, concise, and repetitive formats. Complex or fragmented messages risk being ignored or partially processed, reducing learning effectiveness. Structured audio includes short phrases, rhythmic repetition, and minimal ambiguity. For instance, if the goal is pattern recognition in behavioral cues, a series of clear examples repeated gently across sleep cycles reinforces neural associations without overloading the brain. This structure ensures consistency and allows the subconscious to focus on relevant patterns. Volume and tone control are equally important. Audio should be audible but unobtrusive, maintaining a level that does not trigger conscious awareness or disrupt sleep cycles. Too loud and the mind becomes alert, interrupting restorative processes. Too soft and the brain fails to register cues. The ideal is a calm, steady tone, often low-pitched and consistent in rhythm, that facilitates passive absorption. Many practitioners report success with voice modulation, where slightly slower and deliberate articulation improves subconscious retention. timing and synchronization with sleep stages enhance absorption. Deep sleep consolidates factual and procedural memory, while REM sleep strengthens associative learning, creativity, and pattern recognition. Therefore, structured audio delivered during specific sleep stages maximizes learning outcomes. Using sleep tracking devices or timing audio playback to coincide with early deep sleep or late REM phases ensures that content aligns with the brain's natural processing cycles. Gradual introduction of content at these phases strengthens neural pathways more efficiently than arbitrary exposure. Repetition and spaced exposure are key. Repeated auditory cues, spaced across sleep cycles, allow the subconscious to reinforce connections without overwhelming neural pathways. Spacing prevents habituation, which can diminish retention, and aligns with the brain's natural rhythm of memory consolidation. Over consecutive nights, repeated exposure transforms transient neural activation into durable knowledge, increasing the likelihood of perceiving patterns and making intuitive connections in waking life. Multisensory anchoring strengthens absorption. Pairing auditory input with subtle sensory experiences like touch, gentle vibrations, or pre-sleep visualization creates associative neural links. For example, visualizing scenarios related to the audio content immediately before sleep provides context that the brain can integrate subconsciously. This anchoring enhances recall, strengthens perception, and improves the ability to detect cues and patterns upon awakening. Progressive complexity supports continued neural engagement. Initially, audio content should be simple and easily digestible to allow the brain to adapt. As the mind becomes accustomed to sleep learning, complexity can be gradually increased, introducing layered concepts, non-advanced patterns, or contextual variations. This progressive approach ensures continuous growth, preventing cognitive stagnation while enhancing the mind's capacity to process subtle information subconsciously. Mindset priming before sleep reinforces absorption. Entering sleep with intention, focusing on specific learning goals or perceptual outcomes, prepares the subconscious to prioritize relevant input. Mental repetition of objectives, brief reflection on desired insights, or affirmations aligned with learning content enhances engagement. Studies in cognitive psychology demonstrate that intentional priming improves subconscious receptivity, accelerating the integration of auditory material during sleep. Minimal disruption is essential. Environmental factors such as ambient noise, temperature fluctuations, and physical discomfort can interfere with sleep cycles and reduce learning efficacy. A dark, quiet room with comfortable bedding supports optimal sleep stages. White noise or soft background tracks may be used to mask extraneous sounds without competing with learning cues, creating an ideal auditory environment for absorption. Consistency and cumulative exposure drive long-term results. Sleep learning is most effective when practiced nightly over weeks or months. Each session reinforces neural pathways and strengthens perceptual acuity, gradually producing measurable improvements in pattern recognition, insight, and problem-solving ability. Sporadic use limits effectiveness because the brain requires repeated, consistent stimuli to internalize new knowledge subconsciously. Finally, reflection and integration during waking hours amplify learning. Insights, observations, and intuitions gained after sleep should be noted, analyzed, and applied in real-world contexts. Daytime engagement consolidates the subconscious processing that occurs during sleep, reinforcing neural connections and creating a continuous feedback loop of learning. This integration bridges the gap between subconscious absorption and conscious application, ensuring that sleep-based learning produces tangible cognitive benefits. In summary, maximizing subconscious absorption during sleep requires structured audio, appropriate volume and tone, timing aligned with sleep stages, repetition and spaced exposure, multisensory anchoring, progressive complexity, pre-sleep mindset priming, environmental optimization, consistency, and daytime integration. When these techniques are applied deliberately, the brain transforms sleep into a powerful learning state, enabling subtle pattern recognition, heightened intuition, and insights that remain invisible to those who rely solely on conscious effort. Sleep becomes a deliberate act of cognitive expansion, silently enhancing perception and mental acuity while the world continues in ordinary rhythm. Chapter 5. Building the habit. Integrating. Sleep learning into daily life, the true power of sleep. Learning is realized not through occasional use, but through habitual integration into daily life. Creating consistent routines, aligning waking behavior with subconscious training, and reinforcing newly acquired perceptual skills ensures that the benefits of sleep-based learning compound over time. This chapter explores the principles, strategies, and psychological mechanisms necessary to establish and maintain a sustainable sleep learning habit. Consistency is the cornerstone of habit formation. The brain strengthens neural pathways most effectively through repeated, predictable behavior. By making sleep learning a nightly ritual, you train both conscious and subconscious systems to expect and integrate information consistently. Habit formation relies on cue routine reward cycles. The cue signals the brain that it is time to engage in sleep learning. The routine is the actual listening session during sleep, and the reward is the perceptual and cognitive gains observed during waking hours. Over time, this cycle becomes automatic, reducing resistance and increasing adherence. Establishing a pre-sleep ritual enhances receptivity, and this ritual signals the mind and body to transition into a learning-ready state. Simple practices such as dimming lights, turning off screens, gentle stretching, or brief meditation prepare the nervous system for restorative sleep. Adding reflection or journaling about the day's experiences primes the subconscious for integration of new auditory input. The ritual functions as both a psychological cue and a physiological enabler, creating optimal conditions for consistent absorption. Integration with daytime activity reinforces learning. Insights gained subconsciously are most effectively solidified when applied consciously. For example, observing patterns, noting subtle cues in behavior, or practicing problem-solving during the day strengthens neural associations established during sleep. But this interplay between waking practice and subconscious learning creates a feedback loop. Experiences inform sleep-based absorption, and sleep-based learning enhances perception in waking life. Over time, this loop magnifies both awareness and intuitive insight. Tracking progress is a critical component of habit reinforcement. Keeping a journal of insights, observations, or patterns noticed upon waking allows the mind to recognize tangible results, increasing motivation and adherence. Record perceived improvements in memory, problem-solving, or pattern recognition. By quantifying subtle changes, the brain links habit execution with positive outcomes, solidifying the behavior and reinforcing commitment. Incremental commitment ensures sustainability. Introducing sleep learning gradually allows the brain to adapt without overwhelming cognitive or physical systems. Begin with shorter sessions or simpler content and gradually increase duration and complexity as adaptation occurs. This approach minimizes disruption to natural sleep cycles, reduces resistance, and ensures the habit becomes a seamless part of life rather than a forced task. Environmental consistency further supports habit formation. Maintaining a stable sleep environment, comfortable bedding, regulated temperature, minimal light, and controlled auditory input prepares the brain to anticipate effective learning. Repetition in environmental conditions enhances cue association, signaling to the subconscious that sleep will be productive. Over time, the brain begins to anticipate learning during sleep automatically, thus reinforcing both the habit and the efficacy of the technique. Accountability mechanisms accelerate habit development. Sharing progress with a trusted peer, mentor, or community increases adherence through social reinforcement. Even personal accountability, such as self-reflection or scheduled tracking, engages executive function and strengthens commitment. The combination of internal and external accountability reduces the likelihood of skipping sessions, ensuring continuous reinforcement of perceptual skill development. Psychological framing enhances integration. Viewing sleep not merely as rest but as a strategic learning opportunity aligns motivation with cognitive outcomes. When the subconscious mind recognizes that sleep carries productive, purposeful activity, receptivity to auditory input increases. This mindset primes the brain to actively engage with structured content, improving both retention and application upon waking. Overcoming obstacles is part of habit formation. Life disruptions, stress, or irregular schedules may temporarily interfere with sleep learning. Anticipating these challenges and implementing adaptive strategies, such as short recovery sessions, flexible scheduling, or relaxation techniques, prevents interruption of the habit. Consistency is built over weeks and months, and resilience in the face of disruption ensures long-term success. Finally, habitual integration transforms sleep into a proactive cognitive tool. By consistently applying structured sleep learning alongside daytime reflection and practice, perception becomes sharper, intuition more reliable, and awareness of patterns more precise. The mind develops a dual processing system. Waking observation is enhanced by subconscious integration, and subconscious learning is reinforced by conscious engagement. Over time, this integrated approach produces insights that appear intuitive, effortless, and often ahead of conventional awareness. In summary, building the habit of sleep learning involves consistency, pre-sleep rituals, integration with daytime activity, progress tracking, incremental commitment, environmental stability, accountability, psychological framing, and resilience against obstacles. When applied strategically, sleep learning becomes a seamless, sustainable habit, silently enhancing perception, pattern recognition, and cognitive acuity while you rest. Habitual practice turns sleep from passive downtime into a powerful amplifier of insight, whilst giving you a perceptual edge that others rarely access. Chapter 6. Enhancing Pattern. Recognition through targeted audio techniques. One of the most powerful outcomes of sleep learning is heightened pattern recognition, the ability to detect subtle connections, trends, and relationships that often go unnoticed by conscious observation. The subconscious mind excels at identifying patterns, but this ability can be significantly amplified through targeted auditory techniques applied during sleep. This chapter explores practical methods, cognitive principles, and actionable strategies to maximize pattern recognition and perceptual acuity while you rest. The foundation of pattern recognition lies in the brain's natural tendency to organize information. Our neural networks are wired to detect regularities and inconsistencies in both sensory input and cognitive data. During sleep, especially in REM and deep stages, the conscious filters that usually inhibit subconscious exploration are relaxed. This creates a fertile environment for auditory input to be processed deeply, forming associations and identifying sequences without active effort. Targeted audio leverages this natural mechanism to accelerate perception and insight. Structured repetition is the first key technique. Repeating sequences, examples, or concepts during sleep reinforces neural pathways associated with specific patterns. For example, if the goal is improving observational skill in social interactions, auditory cues describing subtle behavioral patterns, such as tone, gesture, or timing, can be repeated during sleep cycles. Each repetition strengthens the brain's ability to recognize these cues instinctively during waking life. Over time, repeated exposure transforms conscious observation into subconscious intuition. Rhythmic presentation enhances absorption. the brain responds more effectively to stimuli presented in consistent, predictable rhythms. Rhythmic delivery aligns with the brain's oscillatory activity during sleep, particularly during slow-wave stages, allowing auditory input to be processed efficiently. This technique ensures that the mind is engaged without disrupting restorative sleep, reinforcing pattern recognition through a natural, non-intrusive mechanism. Association-based audio is another critical method. Pairing patterns with contextual or sensory anchors, such as stories, scenarios, or analogies, enhances memory and perceptual integration. For instance, associating behavioral cues with specific situational contexts primes the subconscious to detect similar patterns in real-life interactions. The combination of repetition and association strengthens neural links, enabling intuitive recognition of subtle signals that others might overlook. Incremental complexity reinforces adaptive pattern recognition. Start with simple patterns or sequences and gradually increase complexity over time. This progressive exposure challenges the brain without overwhelming it, promoting robust neural network development. Complex patterns, when introduced gradually, allow the subconscious to form multi-layered connections, enhancing the ability to detect relationships in multifaceted scenarios. And targeted frequency and tone optimize neural responsiveness. Certain audio frequencies can engage different cognitive pathways more effectively. Low-frequency tones, soft articulation, and calm pacing minimize sleep disruption while enhancing the brain's receptivity. The goal is subtle penetration. Content should be perceived subconsciously without awakening the conscious mind. Many practitioners use slightly slower, clearly enunciated phrasing to improve comprehension and pattern internalization. Spaced repetition across sleep cycles is essential for durability. Exposing the brain to repeated patterns at intervals during the night, particularly across different stages of deep and REM sleep, reinforces long-term memory and strengthens perceptual pathways. Spacing prevents habituation, maintains attention at the subconscious level, and allows incremental neural consolidation, which is critical for recognizing nuanced patterns in waking life. Integration with waking experience amplifies effectiveness. Sleep-based audio is most impactful when paired with conscious observation and practice during the day. Observing real-world patterns, taking mental notes, and reflecting on experiences provide anchors that the subconscious can link to audio input. This creates a feedback loop. Daytime experience informs subconscious processing, while sleep-enhanced pattern recognition improves daytime perception. Visualization and mental rehearsal before sleep complement auditory techniques. Mentally rehearsing scenarios related to targeted patterns primes the subconscious, enhancing receptivity to audio cues. For example, visualizing problem-solving sequences, social interactions, or complex analytical frameworks before sleep strengthens associative neural pathways, enabling quicker and more accurate recognition of these patterns upon waking. Monitoring and iterative adjustment ensure ongoing improvement. Tracking insights, perceptions, and intuitions gained during waking hours allows fine-tuning of audio content. Adjusting repetition, pacing, complexity, and associations based on observed effectiveness optimizes the learning process, ensuring that pattern recognition continues to develop and evolve over time. Finally, combining multiple techniques, structured repetition, rhythmic presentation, association, incremental complexity, targeted tone, spaced repetition, integration with daytime experience and pre-sleep visualization creates a synergistic effect. The brain is simultaneously reinforced, primed, and guided, producing perceptual enhancements that appear intuitive, yet are the result of deliberate, systematic practice. This multi-layered approach enables you to perceive subtle cues, anticipate trends, and notice relationships that remain invisible to ordinary observers. In summary, targeted audio techniques during sleep, when applied systematically and ethically, enhance the brain's natural capacity for pattern recognition. By structuring repetition, aligning with rhythmic brain activity, associating patterns with context, gradually increasing complexity, and integrating both pre-sleep preparation and daytime experience, the subconscious mind becomes a powerful engine for perception and insight. Sleep transforms into a training ground for seeing what others cannot, a silently building cognitive advantage while the world continues in ordinary rhythm. Chapter 7. Overcoming Challenges and Common Pitfalls in Sleep Learning. While sleep learning offers profound cognitive advantages, it is not without challenges. Many fail to realize its potential because they underestimate the complexity of integrating subconscious learning with natural sleep processes. Sleep is a delicate, biologically driven state, and any disruption, whether environmental, psychological, or procedural, can significantly reduce learning effectiveness. Understanding these challenges and proactively addressing them ensures that sleep-based perception and skill acquisition remain consistent and productive. The first challenge is disrupted sleep cycles. Sleep learning relies on deep sleep and REM stages to consolidate information and reinforce neural pathways. Interruptions caused by noise, temperature changes, stress, or irregular schedules prevent the brain from reaching these critical stages. Without consistent deep and REM sleep, auditory input fails to integrate effectively, reducing memory consolidation and perceptual improvement. Maintaining a stable sleep routine, regulating environmental conditions, and minimizing stress before bed are essential to overcome this challenge. Another common pitfall is overloading the subconscious. Unlike conscious learning, the brain cannot process complex, dense, or unstructured information during sleep effectively. Attempting to force large amounts of content can lead to fragmentation, incomplete processing, or even disrupted sleep. When the solution lies in simplicity, structure, and rhythm, breaking information into digestible segments, repeating key patterns, and delivering audio with calm pacing. Incremental progression allows the subconscious to absorb material steadily, avoiding cognitive overload. Inconsistent practice also undermines results. Sporadic sleep learning does not provide the repeated reinforcement necessary for neural consolidation. The subconscious requires cumulative exposure over multiple nights to strengthen pathways and enable pattern recognition. Building a habit and adhering to consistent, structured sessions, even if brief, ensures that each night contributes to long-term perceptual and cognitive enhancement. Tracking sessions and observing progress reinforces accountability and encourages continuity. A subtle but important obstacle is misaligned expectations. Some practitioners expect immediate dramatic results, assuming sleep learning is a form of instant knowledge acquisition. In reality, the process is gradual. Subconscious learning amplifies perception, strengthens intuition, and enhances cognitive processing over time. Misaligned expectations can lead to frustration, abandonment, or inconsistent practice. Recognizing that insights develop progressively and committing to patience and persistence maximizes long-term benefit. Sleep environment challenges are another barrier. Poor room conditions, light, noise, temperature extremes, or uncomfortable bedding can prevent the brain from entering the necessary sleep stages. Even minor disruptions reduce the absorption of auditory input and limit cognitive consolidation. Creating a controlled environment free from distractions with optimal temperature, darkness, and comfort ensures the brain can process information efficiently while remaining in restorative sleep. Technological missteps are common. Using low-quality speakers, headphones that disrupt comfort, or audio files with inconsistent volume can interfere with absorption. Audio should be clear, consistent in tone, and delivered at a volume that does not awaken conscious awareness. Devices that monitor sleep stages or provide timed playback aligned with deep or REM cycles can greatly improve results, ensuring that content reaches the brain when it is most receptive. Ignoring daytime reinforcement reduces effectiveness. Sleep learning alone is insufficient for full integration. Insights must be anchored to waking experiences. Keep failing to consciously engage with learned material through reflection, observation, or application prevents the brain from linking subconscious processing with practical context. A feedback loop between waking activity and sleep learning strengthens neural connections, enhances recall, and improves perceptual acuity. Psychological factors, including stress, anxiety, or mental clutter, can also interfere. The brain may be too occupied processing unresolved thoughts or emotional tension to absorb external auditory cues. Pre-sleep routines such as meditation, journaling, or deep breathing exercises reduce cognitive noise, creating mental clarity that primes the subconscious for learning. A calm mind increases receptivity, allowing the brain to focus on meaningful patterns rather than irrelevant distractions. Over-reliance on sleep learning is another common mistake. Sleep learning is a powerful amplifier, but is not a substitute for active learning, critical thinking, or real-world practice. Those who rely solely on passive exposure without daytime engagement, problem-solving, or conscious observation will see limited gains. Optimal results come from integrating sleep learning with deliberate waking activities, forming a continuous cycle of observation, processing, and application. Finally, failure to adapt and iterate hinders long-term growth. Sleep learning is not one-size-fits-all. Individuals vary in sleep patterns, receptivity, and perceptual response. Monitoring progress, adjusting audio content, refining techniques, and experimenting with timing or repetition ensures continuous improvement. This iterative process tailors sleep learning to individual cognitive profiles, maximizing both perception and retention. In summary, challenges in sleep learning, disrupted cycles, cognitive overload, inconsistent practice, misaligned expectations, poor environment, technological errors, neglect of daytime reinforcement, mental clutter, over-reliance, and lack of adaptation can all reduce its effectiveness. Overcoming these pitfalls requires discipline, preparation, and strategic adjustment, creating conditions in which the subconscious mind can fully engage with auditory input. By addressing these obstacles proactively, sleep transforms into a reliable cognitive amplifier, quietly enhancing perception, pattern recognition, and insight while the waking world remains unaware. Norm Chapter 8: Measuring Progress and Recognizing Subconscious Insights. One of the most challenging aspects of sleep learning is recognizing the subtle ways in which the subconscious mind enhances perception and cognition. Unlike traditional learning, where progress is often measurable through tests or visible outcomes, sleep-based learning manifests in nuanced improvements, faster pattern recognition, sharper intuition, and more precise decision-making. This chapter explores strategies for tracking progress, identifying subconscious insights, and transforming subtle cognitive gains into tangible skills. The first step in measuring progress is establishing baseline awareness. Before implementing sleep learning techniques, it is essential to evaluate your current perceptual and cognitive abilities. Note how quickly you recognize patterns, interpret behavior, or solve problems. Document memory recall, analytical skills, and observational accuracy. These baseline measures provide a reference point to identify subtle improvements over time and prevent misattribution of progress to external factors. Journaling is a critical tool for tracking insights. Recording observations, intuitions, and subtle aha moments upon waking creates a tangible record of subconscious learning. Over time, patterns emerge in the journal entries, revealing consistent improvements in perception, problem-solving, or behavioral interpretation. Journaling also reinforces neural connections formed during sleep, transforming subconscious processing into conscious understanding. Observation logs further enhance measurement. For example, during waking hours, consciously note patterns in social interactions, market trends, or analytical problems. Compare these observations with your baseline abilities. Subtle improvements, such as recognizing a trend earlier than colleagues or interpreting behavior with greater accuracy, indicate the influence of sleep learning. This method bridges subconscious processing and conscious application, making the effects of sleep learning more visible and actionable. Qualitative reflection is another effective method. Ask yourself questions like, do I notice details others overlook? Are my intuitions more reliable? Am I connecting disparate pieces of information more quickly? Reflection encourages mindfulness and metacognition, thinking about thinking, which reinforces the subconscious integration of sleep-based learning. Over time, active reflection highlights incremental improvements that may otherwise go unnoticed. Tracking consistency and routine indirectly measures progress. Adherence to structured sleep learning sessions often correlates with cognitive gains. By monitoring your commitment to nightly sessions, including duration, timing, and content quality, you create a metric for evaluating engagement. Regular discipline practice is a strong predictor of perceptual enhancement, and consistent records help maintain accountability and motivation. Identifying subconscious cues in waking life is a hallmark of progress. Many insights derived from sleep learning appear intuitive. For example, you may anticipate outcomes in problem-solving, notice subtle signals in behavior, or recognize trends before others. These intuitions, initially vague, will become clearer and more reliable as neural pathways strengthen through repeated exposure. Learning to identify and trust these cues is essential for transforming subconscious gains into actionable intelligence. Performance-based measurement offers objective evidence. Set tasks or challenges relevant to your goals, pattern recognition exercises, memory tests, analytical problem-solving, or observational tasks. Track improvements in speed, accuracy, and insight over time. Incremental gains, even subtle ones, indicate that subconscious learning is enhancing cognitive capacity. Combining objective metrics with qualitative observation provides a comprehensive view of progress. Integration with goal setting enhances insight recognition. Align sleep learning sessions with specific objectives, such as improving social perception, analytical reasoning, or memory recall. When improvements manifest in targeted areas, it becomes easier to attribute gains to sleep-based learning rather than random factors. Clear goals also enhance subconscious receptivity, as the brain prioritizes relevant input during processing. Iterative feedback loops strengthen progress measurement. Use observations from waking hours to refine audio content, timing, or complexity. Adjusting auditory input based on perceived effectiveness ensures continuous alignment with learning objectives. Over time, this iterative approach accelerates progress and deepens subconscious integration. Patience and perspective are crucial. Progress in sleep learning is often gradual, and subtle improvements may not be immediately obvious. Recognizing and documenting small gains builds confidence and reinforces habit consistency. Over weeks and months, these incremental improvements accumulate, resulting in perceptual abilities and intuitive insights that feel effortless, yet are the product of sustained practice. Finally, measuring progress is not solely about data. It is about learning to recognize and trust the subconscious mind. As insights emerge, patterns become clearer, intuition becomes more reliable, and perceptual awareness sharpens. By combining journaling, observation logs, reflection, performance testing, goal alignment, and iterative feedback, you develop a robust framework for recognizing the impact of sleep learning and transforming subtle subconscious gains into practical, actionable skills. In summary, measuring progress in sleep learning involves baseline assessment, journaling, observation logs, qualitative reflection, consistency tracking, performance testing, goal alignment, iterative adjustment, and patience. These strategies make the invisible tangible, revealing the subtle yet powerful ways the subconscious mind enhances perception, cognition, and intuitive insight. By actively monitoring and interpreting these signals, you ensure that the benefits of sleep learning translate into concrete, measurable improvements in daily life. Chapter 9. Combining sleep learning with conscious practice for maximum effect. Sleep learning is a powerful tool, but its full potential is realized only when combined with deliberate, conscious practice during waking hours. The subconscious mind absorbs and organizes information during sleep, but yet without integration into active cognition, insights remain latent. Chapter 9 explores strategies for combining sleep learning with conscious effort, creating a synergistic system that enhances perception, intuition, and practical application. The first principle is complementarity. Sleep learning strengthens neural pathways, primes pattern recognition, and reinforces memory, but conscious practice provides context, application, and refinement. For example, a person practicing observational skills during the day can expose themselves to real-world scenarios, and the subconscious processing during sleep consolidates those experiences. The result is a feedback loop. Daytime experience informs sleep learning, and sleep learning enhances daytime application. Over time, this combination accelerates skill acquisition and perceptual mastery beyond what either method could achieve alone. Structured daytime practice amplifies sleep learning. Deliberate exercises such as analyzing patterns, solving complex problems, or observing behavioral cues create anchor points that the subconscious mind can strengthen during sleep. These anchor points provide context for auditory input, making it more meaningful and easier to integrate. By aligning conscious practice with sleep-based reinforcement, the brain develops a cohesive understanding of concepts, translating into faster, more accurate recognition of patterns in real-life situations. Reflection and review are essential components. Reviewing observations, mistakes, and successes after waking helps consolidate learning. In journaling, these reflections allows the mind to recognize recurring themes, trends, and gaps, which the subconscious mind can then reinforce during sleep. Reflection also strengthens metacognition, the ability to think about thinking, which enhances the awareness of subtle patterns and cues in both practice and real-world scenarios. Incremental application ensures sustainable growth. Start by applying insights gained from sleep learning to simple, controlled tasks, gradually expanding to complex, unpredictable environments. For instance, a skill honed in recognizing behavioral cues in structured settings can be applied in social interactions, professional negotiations, or analytical problem-solving. This incremental approach prevents cognitive overload and allows the subconscious and conscious mind to synchronize efficiently. Spaced integration enhances retention. Instead of attempting to consolidate all learning in a single session, distribute conscious practice throughout the day. Brief, repeated engagements with concepts or patterns complement the auditory reinforcement experience during sleep. Spacing creates multiple touchpoints for neural reinforcement, strengthening both memory and perceptual acuity. Over time, this distributed practice produces intuitive insights that appear effortless and instantaneous. Targeted feedback is a critical component of combining sleep and conscious learning. Evaluating outcomes, analyzing errors, and adjusting strategies ensures that the subconscious mind receives relevant information during sleep. For example, identifying where pattern recognition failed during the day allows you to refine auditory input, keep focus on critical cues, and improve alignment between conscious observation and subconscious processing. This iterative feedback loop accelerates skill mastery and perceptual accuracy. Mental rehearsal before sleep complements both auditory input and daytime practice. Visualizing scenarios, rehearsing decision-making processes, or mentally navigating complex patterns primes the subconscious mind to prioritize relevant information. This technique bridges conscious practice and sleep learning, creating a seamless flow between intentional cognitive effort and passive reinforcement. Over time, mental rehearsal increases the clarity and reliability of subconscious insights. Integration with goal setting ensures focus and relevance, and by aligning sleep learning and conscious practice with specific objectives, such as improving analytical reasoning, social perception, or creative problem-solving, the brain can filter, prioritize, and reinforce relevant patterns. Clear goals enhance motivation, maintain consistency, and ensure that subconscious absorption directly supports meaningful real-world outcomes. Consistency across cycles is essential. The combination of sleep learning and conscious practice requires regularity to produce measurable results. Missing sessions, whether in waking practice or sleep reinforcement, disrupts the feedback loop and slows skill development. Establishing a structured routine that balances daytime practice, reflection, and sleep-based learning ensures cumulative and compounding growth. Finally, understanding the synergistic effect of this approach is key. Sleep learning amplifies perception, intuition, and pattern recognition, while conscious practice provides context, application, and refinement. Together they create a self-reinforcing system where skills developed during waking hours are strengthened subconsciously, and insights gained subconsciously are applied consciously. This dual-layered approach produces cognitive advantages that feel effortless, but are the result of deliberate, integrated training. In summary, combining sleep learning with conscious practice creates a powerful, synergistic system. Structured practice, reflection, incremental application, spaced engagement, targeted feedback, mental rehearsal, goal alignment, and consistency work together to maximize perceptual and cognitive gains. And the integration of these processes transforms the mind into a highly efficient engine of learning, enabling insights, intuitive pattern recognition, and perceptual clarity that surpass conventional learning methods. By merging conscious effort with subconscious reinforcement, you cultivate a mastery of awareness and cognition that is both practical and profound. Chapter 10. Sustaining Growth. Lifelong perceptual mastery through sleep learning. The ultimate goal of sleep learning is not merely temporary insight, but sustained perceptual mastery, the ability to continuously absorb, integrate, and apply knowledge, patterns, and intuitive understanding over a lifetime. Achieving this requires strategic commitment, adaptive techniques, and a deep understanding of the interplay between subconscious processing and conscious cognition. This chapter explores how to maintain and expand the benefits of sleep learning to create enduring cognitive and perceptual advantages. The first principle is lifelong consistency. Like any skill, the benefits of sleep learning compound with regular practice. Occasional sessions produce limited gains, whereas consistent nightly engagement strengthens neural pathways, enhances pattern recognition, and reinforces intuitive insight. Establishing a sustainable routine that becomes a natural part of daily life ensures that sleep learning remains a continual source of growth rather than a sporadic experiment. Adapting content over time is essential. As perceptual skills improve, the brain requires increasingly complex, nuanced, and targeted input to continue developing. Repeating the same audio material indefinitely risks plateauing. And by progressively introducing advanced concepts, subtle patterns, and layered associations, you maintain neural engagement stimulate the subconscious, and prevent cognitive stagnation. The principle of gradual complexity ensures that learning evolves alongside your abilities. Integration with evolving goals supports sustained growth. Cognitive and perceptual development is most effective when aligned with meaningful objectives. Whether the focus is professional expertise, social acuity, analytical reasoning, or creative insight. Adjusting sleep learning content to reflect changing goals keeps the brain engaged and ensures that new skills are relevant and immediately applicable. Periodic goal review allows for recalibration of both conscious and subconscious learning strategies. Reflective feedback loops enhance long-term effectiveness. Regularly reviewing insights, observations, and patterns noticed during waking hours reinforces neural connections established during sleep. Tracking progress over months or years allows the mind to identify recurring trends, gaps in perception, and emerging strengths. This iterative process ensures that sleep learning remains purposeful, adaptive, and integrated into everyday decision-making and problem-solving. Balancing innovation and reinforcement is critical. While new material stimulates the subconscious, revisiting and reinforcing previously learned concepts consolidates understanding and ensures durability. Sleep learning is most effective when it balances novelty with repetition, introducing fresh input while strengthening established patterns. This combination creates a robust cognitive architecture capable of adapting to novel situations while retaining core perceptual skills. Mindset maintenance is a subtle but crucial factor. Viewing sleep as a continuous opportunity for learning cultivates attentional alignment, mental priming, and motivation. Recognizing that insights emerge gradually and subtly encourages patience, persistence, and confidence in the process. The right mindset fosters resilience against disruption, ensuring that sleep learning remains productive even in the face of environmental, professional, or personal challenges. Environmental adaptability ensures longevity. Life circumstances inevitably change, affecting sleep patterns, room conditions, and daily routines. Maintaining the effectiveness of sleep learning requires flexibility in environmental setup. Portable tools, adaptive audio delivery, and adjustable routines allow consistent practice regardless of travel, relocation, or lifestyle changes. This adaptability preserves continuity, preventing interruptions from undermining cumulative growth. Integration with conscious skill development reinforces lifelong mastery. Sleep learning alone is powerful, but pairing it with deliberate practice during waking hours magnifies results. Observing patterns, testing hypotheses, practicing problem-solving, and reflecting on experiences create a feedback loop that strengthens subconscious insights. Over time, the combination of conscious effort and sleep-based reinforcement produces perceptual abilities that feel instinctive yet are systematically cultivated. Monitoring long-term perceptual evolution provides both motivation and insight. Documenting improvements in pattern recognition, decision-making, memory, and intuition allows you to visualize the cumulative impact of sleep learning. Recognizing subtle shifts in awareness, faster problem-solving, and enhanced insight reinforces the value of continued practice and sustains engagement over the long term. Finally, embracing the philosophy of continuous improvement ensures that sleep learning remains a lifelong tool. The brain is capable of ongoing adaptation and growth when challenged appropriately. By combining consistency, evolving content, reflective feedback, balanced reinforcement, mindset alignment, environmental adaptability, and integration with conscious practice, sleep learning becomes a permanent engine of cognitive enhancement. Over years, this approach transforms perceptual skills from occasional insight into sustained mastery, creating a mind capable of seeing patterns, anticipating outcomes, and intuitively navigating complex systems with a clarity that surpasses ordinary perception. In summary, sustaining growth through sleep learning requires consistent practice, adaptive content, alignment with evolving goals, reflective feedback, balanced repetition, and novelty, mindset maintenance, environmental flexibility, conscious skill integration, and long-term monitoring. When these principles are applied deliberately, sleep learning evolves into a lifelong instrument of perceptual and cognitive mastery. The mind becomes a continuously refining system, absorbing knowledge, recognizing patterns, and generating insights even while at rest, enabling a level of awareness, intuition, and understanding that remains largely invisible to those who rely solely on conscious effort.